What if Demogorgons aren't fantasy, but glimpses of real beings hiding just beyond our senses? In Stranger Things, they're terrifying creatures from the upside down, but stories of monstrous entities slipping through the other realms are far older and stranger than any show. Ancient myths, cryptid sightings, shadowy figures in dreams, are they all connected? Today, we're using tarot not to explore ourselves, but to ask the deeper question: what exactly is lurking just outside human perception? Let's step beyond the veil and see what answers the cards reveal. Hello everyone, welcome back, and welcome if this is your first time on my channel. Today we're getting into Stranger Things Inspired Episode 4. So we're going to start with the Oracle. Question 1. What kind of entities exist beyond our perception of reality? So we're looking for like beings that are around us all the time and that operate on different frequencies that we aren't able to pick up with our senses. So what kind of entities exist beyond our perception of reality? We have the Patriot. And sometimes I have a comment right off the bat, but this one, going to wait for a second card here. Whoops, we don't do jumpers. All right. The Postman. So far, this doesn't look friendly. With the Patriot, and I know that Mel Gibson in this movie is fighting for something he really believes in, and he's fighting with a vengeance. So I'm going to say with this one, there's some very angry entities floating around out there, and they don't have any issue in trying to destroy our existence. Or this could also be a card with the Postman, possibility of trying to communicate with us. Let's see where this goes. Now this could also be entities that are fighting for us, for humanity. Can't rule that out. So we have Minority Report. I feel like they have a lot of information that is kind of before its time. So in other words, okay, we're going to go back to this one and say we've got some very angry entities around us, outside of our perception of reality, and they are trying to communicate with us. It looks as though they are trying to communicate because kind of a warning. They're angry about what they're seeing. They're angry about what's happening to humanity. That's what I'm feeling. And they are trying to communicate to the best of their ability because they're seeing things that are going to happen, or they believe is going to happen in the future. Next, that's another card that talks about seeing what's happening in the future. However, what Nicolas Cage discovers in this movie is that it really isn't leading to what he thinks it's leading to. So it is possible that these entities that are trying to communicate with us don't have all the facts, not completely. Recognition, 7 years in Tibet, and lucky night. So these entities, they either want recognition from us, or they're trying to help us recognize the next possible issue for humanity. There are those who meditate on a regular basis, and they can get the communication from these entities if they allow them in. These entities are not going to force their way in. They might put a little, see how he has his hands here? They might do that to us. We don't know that they're there because we can't see them. However, they are doing the intention of getting our attention while meditating. If we accept it and allow them in, they can give the warnings that they need to give. It's a gamble for us, obviously. It's a gamble because are they honest entities? It looks that way if you're going off of the Patriot. Definitely looks that way. So let's see what Tarot has to add here. And these Stranger Things cards are huge. They're not like the little cards that I normally use for tarot in the readings, but you know, it's a Stranger Things episode. We gotta use them, right? And I have a little cheat sheet in front of me here because they didn't use wands, pentacles, swords, and cups. They used strands, scoops, dice, and spokes. And my brain just doesn't want to hang on to those. All right. So again, what kinds of entities exist beyond our perception of reality? So we know, according to this, that there are entities that do exist in this way, and that they are trying to warn humanity about something they think we need to know. So we have the Fool with the Patriot. This is something new that they're trying. Apparently they've not tried to reach us in this way before. The World. It doesn't matter to them who they speak to, as long as that person can spread the word to the world. They would like to probably connect up with someone who has a large following so that they can get the communication out as they need to. Page of Spokes or Page of Cups. Caring about us apparently is something new. It is just, they have the information. We can't say, or I can't say that they really love humanity. No, this is something new in the relationship department, love department, like department. This is something new for them. I'm not even sure they really know what they think of us yet. So we have Four of Scoops or Four of Pentacles with next. And the Four of Pentacles is about holding on to things, physical things. And in next, he tried very, very hard to hold on to physical things, his sanity for one. And more premonitions kept coming his way. So again, they are trying to give us information in very uncommon ways that they think we need to pay close attention to. It concerns our world. And then we have Page of Dice or Page of Swords with recognition. Yeah, new idea. And yes, they want us to recognize it. They feel like it's important for us to recognize it. Nine of Scoops or Nine of Pentacles. Our lives basically depend upon paying attention to what they're sharing, recognizing the truth of what they're sharing, or at least what they believe is the truth. And then we have the Ten of Swords with Lucky Knight. So for whoever can do that meditation and accept their communication, it's going to be what these entities term the ultimate communication. They don't feel like we would ever have communication like that anywhere else, but they will feel a lot more complete. It's a gamble for us. It's a gamble for them. So they will feel a lot more complete when the messages are delivered the way that they hope that they are. So let us get these picked up and move on to question 2. This definitely did not go the way I expected. Never does. Really never does. And if you're new to my channel, you'll see that I'm cleaning up in a very slow kind of manner. This is because I like to make sure that the cards are somewhat mixed even before I shuffle and split them, especially this deck, because the card stock is very thick and they're not easy to shuffle and actually get shuffled well. So if we get repeat cards, I know that this deck is shuffled enough to warrant that repeat cards were meant to come out. And I pretty much do the same thing randomly with the cards for the Oracle. And almost done. All right. Question 2. Do myths and monsters stem from actual encounters with entities? So again, asking if humans have actually seen these entities before, or these myths and monsters, and turned them into legends. We have volcano. And I believe this is saying absolutely yes. It says, do myths and monsters stem from actual encounters with entities that we have had? And I say this is an absolute yes, coming from the game Hot and Cold. If you've ever played that, you hide a small item and the person who is to find it, you're telling them, oh, you're really cold, which lets that person know that they're far away from where you hid that item. And then as they get closer, you're like, oh, you're getting warmer. Yep, getting hotter. Oh my gosh, you're almost on fire. And that is what this volcano card is sharing at the moment for that question. The Giver. People actually went out looking for these myths and monsters. We know that people do that all the time. They're actually searching for the truth. And occasionally you'll have a monster or an entity that will give whoever's searching for them exactly what they want. Independence Day. They're giving an example here. The movie Independence Day is about an alien invasion. So basically aliens, people have had encounters with aliens and have shared those encounters. So again, another yes. Backdraft. Most people know that when they attempt to share what they have seen, they are walking into the fire. For sure. There's so many people that still do not believe, as a for instance, in aliens or certain cryptids, that kind of thing, like Bigfoot. You're walking into the fire if you admit that you've seen one in a lot of ways. Still. Conclusion. Terror at Midnight. And Patch Adams. Yeah, a lot of people will just, that's it. I don't want to hear anymore. It's not my thing, okay? Don't be telling me about this. That's their conclusion. They want any kind of conversation about monsters or entities or anything like that, just it's not a part of their life. Some people are absolutely terrified of what is possibly out there. They might not want to hear it either, but then again, they might want to hear it. And then with Patch Adams, you'll get ones that they'll start laughing about it and they cannot stop. They think it's that funny that somebody might have actually thought they saw something, an entity or a monster or something like that. So let us see what tarot has to add. Yeah, this kind of shuffles in clumps. Hopefully the more they get used, the more that they will loosen up, is my hope. Okay, so we have the Death card, which is transformation. Yeah, it's showing in this card. I wonder if you can see that really well. This was Barb sitting at Steve's party and waiting for Nancy to come out of the house. And that skeleton is not at all what she sees. It's what the card is. It's how the card was created. But Barb was taken below the surface to the upside down, to a very hot place, a very ugly place, a very dark place. So she didn't get transformed. I believe she got eaten. But at any rate, with this question, recognizing the fact that there are monsters, cryptids, entities, that can be quite the transformation for some people. And it can cause quite the eruption within. So let's see what else we have. The Lovers. Okay, so here we have a choice. These monsters, these entities, they have a choice whether or not to show themselves to the people who are seeking truth. And I think a close encounter would be also indicative of the volcano, because you're getting close, you're getting hotter and hotter. And when you actually see one, it is a transformation, right? And it is possible that that particular entity or that monster or cryptid, whatever, knew that you needed to see it for whatever reason, and they made the choice to allow it. Then we have the 10 of Cups. That is your ultimate That is your intuition at its highest. You just, you intuitively know, because maybe you've seen one or you've sensed one. Because if you remember, in question 1, it was about entities that exist beyond our perception of reality. So this is where our emotions, our intuition is at its highest possible strength, is with the 10 of Cups. That is going to allow us perhaps to see what we wouldn't ordinarily see. Eight of Scoops or 8 of Pentacles. That is a card of working, doing it over and over and over again. Just as perhaps a firefighter, they can be fighting fires for days and days and days, weeks and weeks and weeks. They just keep doing the work, keep doing the work. And it isn't easy work. Not easy to have people tell you that what you've seen, what you think you've seen, what you hope to see is basically a joke. So then we have the 6 of Spokes or 6 of Cups. That is a nostalgia card. And with the conclusion, remember I said some people just close the book on you. Don't want to hear what you have to say. It's because they have a memory of something that they don't want to share, because they don't want to be considered different than everybody else. They don't want to feel as though people are going to judge them for what they saw. Justice is with Terror at Midnight. Yeah, I think the people who are actually terrified, they've never seen anything like that, an entity or a monster or cryptid or anything like that. These people haven't, but it's the idea of it. It's the legends that they've heard. It's the campfire stories. And they're actually really terrified that it might be true. The things that they've heard might be true. And with the 7 of Dice or 7 of Swords, this laughter from these people about what you've seen or what you want to see or what you think you've seen, this laughter, they're trying to sabotage your experience, steal your thunder, so to speak. They don't want to admit that the idea is possible. For whatever reason they have. Is it fear? Maybe. So anyway, we know that they actually do, the monsters and the myths actually stem from encounters that people have had. That was shown in the very first card with Volcano. Absolutely yes, you're hotter than hell. And if you're, again, new here and you hear some strange noises, sometimes you're going to hear my Chihuahua snoring in the background. He loves to be in my room with me in his little bed while I'm recording. And those snores are his contribution to my videos. There's also the possibility you'll hear neighbors mowing, and there was a sound earlier. I have no idea what it was, some kind of construction apparently. So there is no perfect time to record, so we just go with the flow. All right, so now we're on question 3. Is there a hidden realm or dimension overlapping with ours? So it's kind of asking, could the upside down be a fictional version of a real place in our world? So is there a hidden realm or dimension overlapping with ours that could be kind of like the upside down? in Stranger Things. Fifth dimension. I'm going to take that as a yes. And if you kind of look at this card, it's got kind of the creepy vibes in a way of what they show for the upside down in Stranger Things. Okay. See what more they have to share. Signs. So I'm thinking it's saying, yes, there is definitely a hidden realm or dimension that overlaps ours. There probably is more than one, but we're specifically asking about one similar to like the upside down in Stranger Things. And it's saying, yes, there are signs of this place. And the card shows a crop circle, but not necessarily, that's not necessarily the sign they're talking about, but it could be. Do those crop circles come up from the upside down? The night they drove Old Dixie down. I guess I left a couple of cards up here. That's okay. This is a card about human strength. I feel like it's saying that this particular hidden realm or this fifth dimension is going to require human strength to survive in, to build in, to adapt to. Should we ever go? Seven days leave. All right, so I feel like if we were to go to this fifth dimension, which is depicting at this point a place, a real place that's similar to the upside down that overlaps our world. I feel like they're saying that we only have enough human strength to last there for 7 days. That's it. At 7 days, we need to get out. Night at the museum. A Knight's Tale. And family. So, 7 days. Because there's a lot of really creepy, strange things in this particular place. Night at the museum is what we're looking at. You don't know what you're going to encounter there. We have a picture of the Tyrannosaurus Rex mouth here at the top with the teeth. So yeah, you never know what you're going to encounter in that 7 days. And this is really something that you need to want to do. In other words, you need to put all of your strength, all of your effort, all of your ideas, all of your wants into going there if that's what you choose to do. One thing they are saying is keep something of your family, your friends, pictures. Keep something on you when you go. This is important. Keep something on you because that's what ties you to this earth, this dimension, our dimension, so that you can come back in 7 days to the same one or sooner. Nobody says you have to stay 7 days. It just says 7 days is as long as you should stay. It's all the longer that your human strength is going to hold out. So let's see what tarot has to share. We have the Ten of Spokes, or Ten of Cups. Again, this is something that is, you can sense this place when your intuition is at its highest point. Not a 1, but a 10. At its highest point. When you are strongest with your intuition. The Fool with signs. Most people are so innocent to the idea that it's just not something they can wrap their head around. Some people are very new to it and will completely miss any signs that come their way. 5 of Strands or 5 of Wands. Yeah, it's very chaotic energy there. Very chaotic energy, which is why human strength is required, where you might sail along very smoothly here on this dimension. Something is so different there that the energy of it is that chaotic. Things are still here, things blowing around there, almost as though it's opposite. 2 of Strands or 2 of Wands. There is a gateway that you can go through for your 7 days. There is a gateway. Probably more than one. King of Scoops or King of Pentacles. Something rules over this place, over this night at the museum. Something rules over the creatures or the entities or this specific dimension. Something rules over it. And that something can be quite terrifying. 9 of Scoops or 9 of Pentacles. Yeah, this would be the place that you really want to be. The place that you really want to experience. And you've got the skills to do it. Queen of Spokes or Queen of Cups. Yes, this is saying make sure you take something with you that ties you to this specific dimension and take care of it. Make sure that you hold it tight and keep it with you at all times. Do not lose it, because that is your tie to here. Okay, so gives a lot more detail than expected. So let us get these picked up and see where it goes from here. And if you're enjoying my content, please feel free to like and subscribe. Maybe share with people that you know enjoy this kind of content also. And most of all, comment. I'd love to have you comment. And if you see something different in the cards than what I'm sharing, if you're on the other side of the screen going, no, 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 don't you see? It means this. Share that with me. I am only one person, and just because this is what I'm reading isn't the only thing that might be there. So yeah, feel free to share what you're finding in the cards. We all learn from that. All right, so almost ready for question 4. All right, so question 4. Have these beings or entities ever crossed into our world? So, are sightings, possessions, or disappearances evidence of breach points or gateways? Now we know that we can go into their dimension. We know that they can reach us through meditation. We know that we've seen them. There's been some that have been allowed to see them. Now it's, have they crossed over into our world from that dimension, from that fifth dimension we just saw. Patch Adams. I'm going to take another one here before I say anything, because that's going like 3 different ways in my head. This gun's for hire, or this gun for hire. I'm almost feeling as though this is a card that is laughing at us for asking this question. Laughter is contagious. Because of this card here, that this gun for hire, I feel like they're saying that, well, geez, of course they have. And if you happen to see one, you better know how to protect yourself. Let's see if I'm on track here, or if this third card takes it to a completely different place. Now you see me. Yeah, they're saying. Of course they do. It is absolutely laughable for us to think that they can't come into this world. But they're not exactly friendly per se. These creatures, these beings, these entities that we were talking about from the place that looked like the Upside Down. And yeah, now you see me. That's kind of confirmation of going, yes, we have crossed into your world. Bad Moon Rising. Yeah, for most of this, it's not a good omen to have them come into our space, our world. It's not a good omen at all. And it could be a warning to something. Something they want to warn us about, kind of with question 1. They were talking about wanting to communicate with us to be able to warn us about things that they see in advance. Summer. Dreams. And War of the Worlds. It looks like they try to paint the picture as something not as serious as what it is. They try to come across warmly. Or looking completely harmless or different, so that we don't seem to be on the defensive. Now, if you've ever seen the movie V, this is what comes to mind, is the people in the movie V, or the aliens, looked like people, normal people. So, and went about their business for a while like normal people, and then they weren't. Perhaps they can show up in our dreams. Share information with us in our dreams, or invade our dreams. We don't know what that is exactly. However, it's almost like they're trying to warn us about a War of the Worlds. Now, could this be our own world and the war that is constantly seeming to be ongoing, or an actual War of the Worlds where entities are coming, just as with question 1, as though they needed to warn us about something. Maybe this is it. And we had Independence Day also. That's the alien invasion. So let us see what Tarot has to share here. I feel like they only come into our world if they have something. I mean, they would have to be desperate to do it because they know that we're an unpredictable race, that we don't have much tolerance for different people. And with all the legends and everything that have happened, the reaction it probably wouldn't be a good one if suddenly you could see them. All right, we have the High Priestess. Yeah. It's laughable. They're there. In our minds, intuitively, we know they're there. We maybe have never seen them, but intuitively we know they're there. Ace of Strands or Ace of Wands. Yeah, they never know, these beings, entities, if they would cross over, they don't know how we're going to react. They don't know what energy they would be greeted with, but with this gun for hire, that makes sense. They could be, I mean, what they could come into, there's no limit to it, to how horrible it could be. Temperance. Yeah, I think they feel like they have to come upon people that they feel are a little more balanced, have an idea of justice in their mind. Some people are like, shoot and ask questions later. They need to find people, show themselves to people who have more of a let's see what they want first kind of attitude rather than this. Oop. Okay. King of Spokes or King of Cups. They need to find somebody, or more than one somebody's, who has very structured or strong communication skills. And I'm talking intuition, meditation, kind of like with the 7 years in Tibet. They need to be able to probably telepathically get the message across. But that person has to have a specific structure. So if you meditate every day for half an hour, you probably have the structure they require. And half an hour was just off the cuff. Doesn't have to be that long, but you know. All right, so 8 of Spokes is the 8 of Cups. And that card is about walking away or mastering. It can also be mastering that intuition. So somebody who is very structured, somebody who has mastered their intuition. And Sunflower kind of reminds me of the Sun Tarot card, so that the clarity and the truth can actually come through. It can shine through to these people. The Emperor. They'll also try, somebody will also try to infiltrate the dreams. This Emperor could be a good guy, could be a bad guy. So this could be somebody on Earth, or this could be one of these entities trying to get a message across, or just trying to blind us to the truth. Look how bright that light is. Not wanting us to go through the gate, not wanting us to gain that clarity. 10 of Strands. It's 10 of Wands. This is the ultimate energy. It is what they're trying to get across. There's some kind of war of the worlds, war of some sort, whether it's a mind war, whether it's a land war, a planet war, some kind of unfriendly happening is what they are trying to get through to us that may be happening. At least that's what they're seeing in Minority Report and in Next. Okay, so we'll get this picked up and move on to number 5. There are 6 questions in total in this episode. Okay. Pretty sure you were probably hearing my chihuahua snoring in that last segment. Okay, let's... there we go. Sometimes they're just too slippery to... keep from sliding across the table. All right, so question 5. Do these entities see us as prey, curiosity, or something else? So what is their intention when they contact us, either accidentally or deliberately? Now we've been, since question 1, kind of the way that it looks is that they've been wanting to warn us, communicate with us to warn us about something. So I have a feeling that they kind of like humanity. We had one of the cards up here that was like, it's a new feeling for them to maybe care about us. So do these entities, oh, look at that. War of the Worlds. Saw me shuffle. Saw me tuck. Do these entities see us as prey, curiosity, or something else? I'm going to say that those... Well, I'm not going to say anything until I pull this second card, because again, there's more than one thing going through my head about that one. Oh, look at that, the Patriot, okay, which is what we had as first card out on question 1. So these people, or these entities, the ones that we're talking about here, there are entities who consider us as prey, but there are also entities that are warning us or trying to warn us because they don't like what's happening. They might not necessarily like us, but they don't like what maybe is being planned against Earth or humanity. Okay, I'm going to shuffle that 1 or 2 more times because it wasn't splitting very well. All right. Sleepy Hollow. So I'm seeing this as what they're seeing is kind of a nightmare. It says heads will roll at the top of this card. So the situation is definitely what they're seeing, what they saw in Minority Report and Next is definitely not a good thing. So I don't know if they're necessarily, their intention is obviously to warn us, these particular ones that are coming through this card reading. Then we have cat people. These are the ones I think that are not the good ones. We have Sleepy Hollow and we have cat people. And I'm not talking about people who like cats. These are a different race of people, different entities that are not seeing humans in a good way. Mr. Roboto. hand-me-down world, and offer. That is interesting. Okay. I almost feel like there's two threats. One being these cat people, whoever they are. They would be kind of night owl people. Those who stalk at night. And then we have AI or robots or technology. These people perhaps have, they're the nightmare. They have the technology to bring on a war of the worlds. And with the way that our planet is right now, the state of our planet, the broken systems, yeah, it wouldn't be that difficult for them to do. What these entities are offering here is a gift to us. They're giving us a heads up that something is coming. So let's see what Stranger Things, that's the good guy's intention. The first entities that we discovered in question 1 that started with the Patriot. That's what they are trying to communicate through this reading, apparently. Let's see. So War of the Worlds, we have, again, the High Priestess. It's a secret, it's a plan going on behind the curtain. 5 of Dice or 5 of Swords. It's chaotic communication. It's chaotic action. Very fast, very swift, chaotic action. Think of a sword and how fast a sword fight can go. It's chaos. Then we have Justice. These entities feel like they have the right to say something to us. They don't have to keep us in the dark. 2 of Spokes or 2 of Cups. By not keeping us in the dark, we have the opportunity to know what we're up against and to decide what to do. To form an alliance with the entities that, are giving us this information, to run away, to gather our family members and find a way to survive. Wheel of Fortune. No matter how you look at it, things are going to change. Sometimes they change for the good, sometimes they change for the bad. So in this case, we really don't know which way it's going to go. Technology is going to be a big deal in the issue. 9 of Strands or 9 of Wands. Yeah, the biggest worry to these entities is that our planet is broken. It's difficult to win against another race of aliens or entities, whatever you want to call them. It's hard to win when you don't even have your own planet figured out. When people can't get along and everybody's fighting. That is their biggest worry for us. 9 of Spokes or 9 of Cups. Yeah, they're wishing for us that we will accept the offer of the knowledge that they have. They're wishing because, yeah, for some reason they really just want us to be happy. Not sure where they're connected to us to even want to care about. And again, this caring for them with the Page of Cups, it was a new feeling. So they're not super invested in us, at least not yet. And I guess if we're kind of not willing to accept the information that they are sharing with us, then I guess they can always take their new feeling off to some other place where people appreciate what they're trying to offer. Maybe. All right, so once we get this picked up, we will be on to the last question here. All right. Is there a force or intelligence that controls these beings or entities? And again, I think we're talking about the ones who've been pretty much talking to us through this reading. They want, have they been acting on their own, or are they part of some greater agenda? Is there a force or intelligence that controls these beings or these entities? Witchy woman. Going to say yes. There is a force that controls or no. Let me take that back. It says on here, free spirit. Let's see what this card is. Robin Hood. Okay. I'm taking back the yes, and I'm going to say no. These are free spirits, free entities, free to aid us if they choose. Robin Hood. They have nobody to answer to. Robin Hood kind of does his own thing. He doesn't care. He's stealing from the rich to give to the poor. He has a cause. That's what matters. Does he answer to anyone? No, he does not. Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy. A third card to say, we're protecting you. We're trying to protect you. We're giving you warnings. We are entities. We are myths, monsters, entities, legends that are trying to protect your planet, protect you. And we're doing it of our own free will. It is our way of giving. We have the giver. Our way to help you find freedom and truth. Rain of Fire. 39 Steps. Murder on the Orient Express. So all of these cards, Rain of Fire, this is about our earth being scorched by dragons, okay? Could be anything, but our earth being scorched. 39 Steps, I believe, is about murder. And of course, Murder on the Orient Express. Again, murder. So no matter how you look at it, this doesn't look good. Their intention is, their intention is to warn us about what they see coming in the future. The War of the Worlds of some sort, so that we can avoid having our earth destroyed in this way and basically dying, right? And they are not doing this for anyone but us. There's nobody controlling them. They are free spirits. They answer to no one, and they just want to, for some reason, save humanity. Do we deserve to be saved? They don't seem to care. They must think we do. All right. Maybe they're saving us from ourselves. Maybe that's what they're seeing, is not another entity coming in, but the war on our own planet. War of the Worlds could be anything. So we have the Emperor. There's somebody, I think, in charge of them, okay? But they all have the same agenda. They're all allowed to be free spirits. 8 of Dice, or 8 of Swords. They are trying to help. They know that we are feeling, or that we feel victimized. They're trying to help. They're doing the best that they can to help in their own way. The 4 of Dice, or 4 of Swords. They're trying to give us the opportunity to rest and relax a little bit. They're willing to help if we'll let them. But sometimes we've got to get out of the way. The Devil, yeah, they want to help us find freedom away from those who want to take all our power away. And again, we could be talking about people here on Earth fighting for our own world. Page of Scoops, or Page of Pentacles. We're very slow to learn. Very slow to learn. There's been plenty of messages to let us know that, we're heading for this path. 7 of Spokes, or 7 of Cups. There's a lot of different ways that we can go to perhaps avoid this death. And the Star is a hope card. Hopes and dreams. Doesn't have to be this way. And these entities, these beings, these aliens, these whoever they are, they're trying to help. Okay, so that is it for episode 4 of the Stranger Things Inspired series. We have a teaser for episode 5. So before you go, what if we told you the Mind Flayer wasn't just fiction? That obsession, fear, and belief could actually give it life. In this episode, we're diving into a chilling theory. Did Stranger Things manifest something real? A force that feeds on our thoughts, maybe even watches us now? Hit subscribe, because episode 5 is where things get really bizarre. Okay, so there's your teaser for the next episode. And on the screen, you can see the schedule of the shows that I do each week. If you're enjoying Stranger Things, you might also like X-Files and The Twilight Zone. So check those out. Times are there as well. And with all that said, and the end of this episode, thank you so much for being a part of it, and I hope you've made it to the end with me. So until next week, when we hit that really exciting Mind Flayer episode, have a great one. Take care.